Hey, what's up? Overthought and understated here. Just some random thoughts that I had this morning that I wrote in this unconscious passport. The range of random topics that I merely touch on in this little booklet is absurd. Anyway, this is about the artistic mindset and how the mind of an artist is kind of different and much more strange than that of the normal person. And I think I might be onto something here, but again, it's in the works. A true artist, that is, a true artist, perhaps a successful artist, or an artist who actually creates great art, whether famous or not. I'm not talking about just one of those hipsters who makes art that's basically just like the art of every other hipster. I fucking hate hipsters. Anyway, a true artist might be seen as self-absorbed, but that is only half true. The artist is profoundly sensitive to oneself and also to the state of the broadest perspective of reality humanly possible. So therein lies the artist's duty on those two extremes. With regards to everyday activities of ordinary human life, the artist says, "If I do not do these jobs, then surely someone will. Therefore, I do not have to." Which kind of makes sense, right? They're not very good at hygiene, many of them. With regards to his own artistic endeavors, the artist says, "If I do not show this, or create this, then surely no one will. Therefore I must." Only the artist is simultaneously this introspective and this broad in his perspective, unrelenting in his duty to remain true to himself, and also eager to show and share his unique point of view of the greater reality of the world. And he has this strong duty to do so. His lack of duty to anything in between those two extremes, in the civil realm, we may call it, where most people exist, makes him an outcast, for civil reality is that with which he fails to connect. This leads to his being contradictorily, I guess it's a word, high in both impulse as well as in foresight, that is, in inclination as well as in reason. Therefore, as we know, he will be more prone to existential anxieties and depressions. This bleak emotional state seems necessary for his motivation to create. But if it is not balanced with a strong will, it may result in suicidal considerations. The mere thought of suicide, however, is something which every true artist is entertained by, perhaps even comfortably, even if it is not a realistic consideration for him. He may instead find great humor in it. And that is often an indication that he has moved far past it as a realistic consideration. It is this variability in strengths of will which I believe separates one artist from another, one style from another. The greatest, perhaps, as the greatest artists, have either pushed those anxieties to their breaking point, or they have moved the furthest from those anxieties and therefore find the most humor in them. Comedians, perhaps. They are the closest to their shadow, their unconscious reality, and have the intelligence to articulate it through one form or another, whether it's through music or visual art or comedy or whatever the case may be, somehow and miraculously, so that civil beings can understand and take notice in it. Another thought is that creating art requires a great amount of technical skill in whichever artistic field that person creates. And so, unfortunately, there are indeed many creative people who have never developed those technical skills and therefore have never really created much. And that can cause even further anxiety. That's like remaining in creative prison. It's a place that you get stuck in up here, but because I think to sufficiently to learn a skill that's required for an artistic endeavor to the point which and to cultivate that skill to the point that you can create the art that's in your mind with little to no hindrance, mechanically speaking. It's a great challenge, and it's something that you have to start developing. I would say at a very early age. If you're not if you're not at least well on your way to perfecting a craft in your early teens, 13 at the absolute latest, I would say, then you're probably never going to be able to sufficiently express yourself creatively, even if you do have a creative mind, which motivates you to try. You'll ultimately be limited, I think, and that's a place that many creative people are stuck in. But so I guess that's the difference between art and craft as well. You know, art is the idea, and the creative part, the original part, and then the craft is the tool that you use to do that, to show that idea to the world. Most people either have mechanical skills or they have artistic thoughts. Very few people, you could call them artists, have the ability to do that and the talent. They have both of those things. So I think that also comes from existing in two different places at once, you know. Um, that is an introspective, the deep introspective reality, and the broader, general, mystical reality, I guess you could say. Anyway, those are just a few thoughts, and I'll leave you with that. Maybe I'll develop something more out of that. Maybe not. Maybe it'll just remain in here like the rest of it, and it'll disappear from my mind, only to be rediscovered later. Anyway, see you next time. Cheers.